For Rise of the Planet of the Apes, composer Patrick Doyle wrote a score based on the sounds of the apes. And the most ominous music track in the movie only came when he looked to a cookie for inspiration.
Look to the cookie.
But first, he faced a challenge in this film.
Tell the story that wasn't said in dialogue terms. There was so little dialogue in the first half of the film.
Little dialogue, and even less spoken dialogue, means silence where there still has to be emotional connection. The music has to fill that void, but only after finding the sound. One of the first questions a film composer has to ask is, what should the film sound like? Where does that style come from? The answer came from the movie because apes make sounds. It was the sound effects team that inspired Doyle to make his own sounds. And to use them in the score too. To use the instruments to emulate the apes.
To have all the brasses and strings swelling, and out of it comes the roar of the gorilla.
He talks about this swell in the brass and strings, which the score absolutely has. But it's also heavily percussive, which also comes from the apes. Doyle took this chimp chant and turned it into a rhythm.
Wow, wow, wow. I went with the music, and that became I read the whole movie, that.
And apes weren't the only animals to inspire the score. The climax features an ape escape that turns into an ape revolution that inspired another sound.
Suddenly, the entire city of San Francisco is literally swarms of apes. It was the way they kind of crawled over the cars and everything else that reminded me of kind of like bees. And I wanted the music like a low buzzing swarm, you know, but these are ugly, so it was like enormous big ugly swarm of apes.
All of these sounds were wisely used in harmony with the sound effects, so Doyle's low buzzing doesn't interfere with the high ape calls.
That's a wonderful passing the baton to the different departments, and that's what makes it, for the audience, this timing, this wonderful sense of movie timing. It comes from all departments.
There's another unique sound in the score: voices. And this one, like the apes, evolves over the course of the film, which could be a complete accident, but it works. The start of the film introduces Caesar's theme when his pregnant mother is captured. Except that's not a voice, it's an ostrich egg ocarina that sounds almost human. This sound plays throughout the score as Caesar matures, along with the African American voices, used as drones throughout the score, accenting action cues. Then as the apes evolve, the voices do. If you haven't seen the movie, touching on this is probably unavoidable, but when you get to the spoiler track titled "Caesar Says No,"
take your stinking paw off me, you damn dirty ape!
No!
the voices aren't just tones. It's minimal.
Okay, so let's change the vowel to ha.
And this evolution could be an accident, but that's a spoken word instead of a drone, which is in line with the movie's ape speech. The score goes from something humanoid to something more human to a spoken word. The voices were used to great effect in the track Cookies, or a version of it not available on the album. Doyle's biggest challenge was scoring a wordless scene in which Caesar gives out cookies to all the other apes to unite them, because
once those gorillas accept you, you got it made in the shade.
As one of the toughest scenes in the movie, inspiration came from an unexpected source. As Fox Music president and host of Score the Podcast, Robert Kraft explains,
our composer was singing to himself as this tale goes a few nights ago. This silly thing in his head. I got a cookie for you. I got a cookie for you. I got a cookie for you, right? The silliest thing you could ever think. It's a big, massive scene. It's all tense. And what's he saying?
I got a cookie for you. I got a cookie for you. I got a cookie for you. I got a cookie for you.
That little chant is silly, but that's a rhythm.
Right? The whole thing develops, and suddenly we have this massive action cue.
It's a very difficult scene, and I felt the surge of, I know what this is. I got a cookie for you. 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 I thought, I daren't sing to these people that come round to hear it. I got a cookie for you. I got a cookie for you. But I couldn't resist it.
And Kraft had an idea. They had a choir, and now they had lyrics, so even though recording sessions are expensive, the filmmakers had enough sense of humor to put these things together.
And again.
Doyle took the work seriously and wrote a cue that fits the scene. As a Planet of the Apes prequel, this moment with the cookies has to eventually lead to this. But as Doyle says,
If you can't have a bit of fun, you'll go insane. You're just like the cookie.
My work here is done.
so hopefully they release this version on a deluxe album one day. For more exotic instruments and unexpected sounds like desk bells and film scores, check out this playlist. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much.